I'm Jeph Loeb.
I'm Elizabeth Henstridge.
So where does saying goodbye to two members of S.H.I.E.L.D. leave the team for the rest of the season?
Heartbroken, devastated, traumatized.
You know, this is one of the things about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that we think is so important is that it is a show that needs to continually grow and evolve and have surprises and make the audience come to us every single week and not know what's going to happen. And so whether it's that you find out, hey, spoiler alert, and if you don't know this, you haven't been watching the show, that Ward is Hydra, or whether it is that Trip is not going to be with us anymore, or whether it is that Bobby and Hunter are going to be leaving. Those are the kinds of things that we try to do, and we try to do them in a way that's real and grounded and very emotional. And we're so grateful to our fans and our viewers and to ABC, for encouraging us to expand our cast in the second season, where we brought in Bobby and Hunter, but also Henry Simmons as Mackenzie, and seeing how immediately the fans accepted them and wanted them to be part of the team, that to have the kind of emotional reaction that we got at the fact that they were leaving just speaks to the quality of the writing, the quality of the acting, the incredible crew, and our showrunners, Jeff Bell and Jed Whedon and Marissa Tancheron, at being able to introduce, in this case, two characters that struck a chord. And the funny part about it was that script that was superbly written by Paul Z, that is what Paul pitched. That scene at the end was in the writer's room. And then it came out on the page, and then it played on the day. And if you've done as many episodes as we've done, you don't always know that that's going to work. But I think I can say safely, and I don't want to speak for the cast, but it sure, from everything that we saw, it was very real emotion. It wasn't just the fact that it was playing that way. It was a group of people who have been a family who realized that two members of their family are not coming back.
Yeah, it was so sad. I mean, they were such a. I can't imagine a S.H.I.E.L.D. where we didn't have Henry Simmons and Adrian Palicki and Nick Blood. They just gelled so perfectly, and it was just great. And we all played off each other. But it was, it was a lot of characters to keep juggled, and we're so pleased and so proud of them for this new venture. But that, I mean, just reading the scene, we're all in floods of tears, and then shooting it was, we're very lucky to all get on as a cast and to be a family. But then, the flip side is that when someone leaves, it's painful. But we're very excited for them. And yeah, that scene was no acting was required in that last scene.
We don't get to go home with the characters too much. You've done it a bit with May, and now we get it next week a bit with Mac. What do you think that really adds to his character, and is that something you hope you can do a little bit more with the show?
Well, it's certainly something that we've talked about from the very beginning. I mean, one of the interesting things about S.H.I.E.L.D. is that it very much is a show about a family, a very dysfunctional family, very diverse family, and in case you need to figure it out, yes, Agent Coulson is the Papa Bear. But how that family gets along, and there are different kinds of families. Some families are ones that are at work. But one of the things that we have played a lot of is what you give up when you join S.H.I.E.L.D. And those personal connections is something that you have to give up, because if people knew what you did, you would then become vulnerable, and the people that you care about and that you love become vulnerable. And so we've been very careful about revealing too much, because one of the things is that we want to play the reality of what's happening for them. And in many ways, being a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent is a lonely job. And what Phil Coulson's been able to do is try to make it a place where it's not, where you don't have that feeling where you need to go home. But we have seen, like in the story with him and the cellist, we have seen how heartbreaking that can be. And what we're going to get to see next week is, what it's like for Mac's world. And particularly, it was by no small accident that, he came on the show with Bobby and Hunter. Bobby and Hunter are now gone, and so he's going to take that moment to try to reconnect with the outside world, and will that work out? And you'll have to watch the next episode in order to find that out.
Is there anything you can tease about connections to Civil War?
I think the best way of looking at it is that, as you continually back me in a corner and force me to say hashtag it's all connected, and then I get yelled at tomorrow. But the reality is that, we have in many ways been dealing with a very similar storyline that's been going on since we introduced the Inhumans. This is a show that started with the idea that not all heroes are super, and now one of our team members, Daisy Johnson, is someone who has powers. And the idea of the question between humanity and inhumanity, and how they're going to get along, and whether or not they should be controlled, whether or not they should be cured, which is part of the Simmons storyline, is all leading to that inevitable question, which is, what do you do in the real world when people are different? And that is the heart of what Civil War is about, and it's the heart of what our show is about right now. And so how it affects it, I can't be very specific about, but you can certainly see the themes being played out. And that's one of the things that poor Elizabeth's had to listen to an awful lot about today, which is that, Marvel always works best when we take the real world and we go through the Marvel prism, and you come out and you take things that are happening and give them a different way of looking at it. And so when you think about it, what's going on in this country, what's going on in the world, there is our intolerance and tolerance towards each other is never been turned up as bright. And whether it's about race or religion or gender or nationality, people right now are having a hard time trying to figure out, who do I trust? Can I trust? Do I want them eradicated? Do I want them to be people that are my friends? And hopefully the message that you're getting from watching our show is that tolerance is actually the best answer. But you're not getting hit over the head with it because, wow, there's all this super cool tech, and there's people with superpowers and people that are flying around and things that are blowing up. But at the same time, as we saw last week, there are moments that break the heart. And that's hopefully what the show's going to be about, not only now, but next season as well.
Are you optimistic for Agent Carter season 3?
I'm optimistic always.
Great.
I think we're getting yanked.
Thank you.
Thanks so